guys, spent love. I want to talk to you about the Belle Club. Now, these guys are very special. It seems to me that they are just like, I don't know how Cause King ever found them, actually speaking, because they seem like a great group of people. Alright, so apparently they did not like the alphabet. Really, it was a mess, apparently. Uh, but if you talk about it, like, why are they so concerned about a alphabet? Like, at some point in your life, everyone slept on a alphabet. You got to be able to roll the punches, especially when you're on a TV show. Like, they're gonna do little jabs and things of that sort. And so, I'm so glad that they realize that, hey, if you're on a vacation and they do have a house, and that is a room and that is a bed. But I think a sofa bed, maybe they wanted to. I mean, actually, it's a little ghetto, if I want to really be honest, because, like, what's that about? But maybe that might have been a room for more activity. Like, they could have had something like a whatever there. But people want to break out into rooms and chat, things like that sort. And then they said, but this also can be a room for a sofa. I already know because I wasn't there, right? Okay, so um, basically, I feel as though with the Bell Collective, allegedly these are all millionaires or something of that sort, and then they, but you see when if you're a millionaire, then you act like a millionaire, and then you don't feel like I'm not sitting there. So Carrie's husband was very, very pissed off. Carrie's husband was very pissed off. He was like, I'm not sitting there. I'm not staying here. I'm not staying in this place where they don't give you a real room. Now, and Carrie's like, look, we're on a TV show. And so if you're on a TV show, then sometimes things are not going to be the best, but you're going to stay on a TV show. So Carrie is like, I'm going to stay on this TV show, although her husband's like, no, I'm not staying on this TV show if they don't give me a bed to sleep in. But at the end of the day, Carrie won out like she does with him when they have the conversations. Yeah. But at first, he was winning out. Carrie's husband was winning out because she was like, he was like, um, after dinner, we're gonna go and basically, I'm going to a hotel. Mm. So he's like, I'm going to a hotel right after dinner. I'm not allowing them to treat me like this. Yeah, and I do agree with that too because why does not why does he not have a bed? You know, and so it is a treatment. And so I feel like on some of these shows they try to keep the light skinned people off the show quickly. Like, there's no light skinned people, light skinned black people really on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So they try to get the light skinned black people off the show quickly. I feel that way. And, like, oh, they can't really be on the show and things like that sort. Because they try to do little hardships for them. So I definitely feel like that. And so I think that's probably what he's thinking about, like, why are they putting me and my wife on this double sofa and stuff. So I think a lot of people are talking about that. And I also feel like that's a problem, like, but Carrie's husband's very hilarious, and I think that in the group, um, did the trip. Was it Latrice's trip? Because, Latrice said her friends had a hotel, not a hotel, but an actual place, a club in Atlanta, Georgia. And so the whole crew, the cast went to Atlanta, Georgia, right? So they went to Atlanta, Georgia because a friend had a club there. Now, it was a surprise wedding party for Selena. And I promise you, if it was Selena, Selena would never had allowed herself to be there um sleeping on a sleeper sofa. Now, a sleeper sofa will hurt your back. I'm here to tell you. You sleep on a sofa long enough, it will hurt your back. So I do understand about um um the other girl down there concerns and her husband concerns about a sleeper sofa. I definitely know Selena would never have allowed a sleeper sofa to be a part of her wedding party days or being there in general. So I do understand why um, he was like that. Um, but overall, I think it's positive for the people to be able to get together in circumstances because for the black family at large, um, coupling and choosing um, monogamy is very, very hard for people to do these days because um, a lot of people have BBLs and fake bodies and not natural bodies, and to lead you away from a decent life with a single man and husband. And so I definitely think for them to think that okay, we can do this and let's try to make it a positive place. I think it's great as a family unit to support marriage. But let me just report. I really definitely think that this is a great group of people that we can keep. And if is it real? Because sometimes these reality shows, we think they're real, and then I don't know if they made up. I don't know what's going on. They don't stay, things of that sort. But I definitely think that I mean, I love the fact that they have this in Alabama a TV show, and they are trying to get together and support each other, and Len and Letitia seem to be doing well, and I thought that was great, and I just think that it's for the positive black experience, um, to show that we can get together and that we do support one another. I think it's good, traveling and trying to choose monogamy and couples gathering together and loving each other and being married. Now Marie, she's single, um, and she tried to make it work allegedly with her husband, but it did not work. I don't know exactly what happened, but it seems to me that he's not able to be monogamous with her. So for them to choose monogamy and choose these couples trips and things of that sort, um, I think it's great. I do understand why Valerie, I think her name is Valerie. Let me look. Look at the notes. Let me look at the notes. Valerie is the one. There's so many new people. I think it's Valerie, guys, right? Put it in the comments if I'm saying the wrong person, okay? I think it's Valerie. That was the one. It's like her husband who's having problems, her mother-in-law. it's Valerie and her husband is having a problem that slept on the bed, on the sofa bed. And it is what it is. But I feel as though the monogamy that they're trying to show, you know, is important. That they choose that, and like again, Letitia and her husband Glenn are trying to make things work. Um, and a lot of times it doesn't work because monogamy has to be a choice, and it's not really. Um, if you don't want to do it, then you don't do it. We have free will here on Earth. But monogamy is supposed to be a choice. It is a choice. And so for them letting you see that, that it can be and you can choose that, I thought was great. Now this show, um, it's a sleeper. Now they created the Belle Collective on Alabama, but the Belle Collective is a sleeper. It will sleep on you, and then you'd be like, okay, let me just watch the show because it's like I like the conversation, I like what they're trying to do, I like what they're trying to teach, and allegedly these are real stories and these are real couples, and I think that's great, because we as people, we need to have people being able to let us know, you know, that that you can make it as a couple, but as a choice. Monogamy is a choice. Um, it's not, okay, we're gonna just be monogamous because people come around here and like when they went to the for Selena, when they went to the club in Atlanta, Georgia, for Selena, I felt as though the men there were not really having a fun time until the girls with the bottles showed up at the club, and then the men and the husbands and boyfriends, then they were like all happy and stuff like that. But they felt like they needed something else, and they could not just be happy with the same people they're already with, meaning their wives and their girlfriends. And so I don't feel that's the answer. I don't feel you're showing your man that he has to turn up, or that do not support that. You have to support monogamy, and it's you he's looking for, and you have to be the apple of his eye. Long story short, that's what you have to be, because you're the one who's married to him, and he's the one that married you. And so, long story short, you have to be the apple to his eye and things of that sort. And for him to turn up when the battle girls come and stuff like that, I didn't like that, honestly speaking. I'm like, what is this about? I thought, it was a wedding situation in terms of a party for Selena getting married. But, it's a good demonstration of how men might be, women might be. And so I did like that. But, I also felt as though sometimes, I don't know. I feel as though people should like basically love the one where you're with, and you should be happy that you're out with her instead of just only when the bottle girls show up at the club do you start turning up. I don't know if that was just what they did because of the fact that it was like they edited that way, or was that really what was there? You know what I mean? But I'm starting to really feel like this is a really good situation with the Bell Collective. I think that they do a lot of. I like the show. That's what I'm trying to say. I really like the show, and I really feel like this is a great show. And allegedly these are all real couples, and I love the fact that they are trying to ride with each other and choose to be um, a good monogamous couples. Again, sometimes it's hard because people get all this BBLs, get all this fake stuff done to them, and then people think that they can't be monogamous with their or the same woman they've been with like 10 years, stuff like that. For instance, like Letitia and Glenn. I love how Letitia and Glenn they felt like this was a honeymoon period for them. I love that. Um, for Latrice, I think she grew out of it. I'm not sure. I think she, I don't know. I think she has too many women around her when she throws a fence, and she needs to have like more men around her. But I don't think her husband would allow that, and so that has an issue there. But I think that so far so good. I think that they are. We don't want people to get divorced. We want people to stay together and choose monogamy. Um, you know, again, it is a choice, and so it's forever with the same person. So I like how they try to work things out and choose that and attempt to be monogamous. I love that on the show how they try to do that. And yeah, this is a great season, and I hope that they're not going to get divorced, and I hope that we can keep seeing them truly show their insecurities, the things that are wrong with them, and how hard it might be to be monogamous. And at some point, sometimes it seems like an unmonogamous world. Yeah. But to choose monogamy, again, it's a great thing, and I think that you should choose monogamy. And as men and women, and choose love and choose positivity. Um, you know, because that's the best way to go about things. You don't want to keep dating people, and all of a sudden, you got to start again and start again. So I think they're not trying to start again anymore, and I think that's good about that. And they're trying to keep the one they're with, and I think that's lovely. And I think that um, I do think that Silverbed again. I just have to say is that was bad, and I think the person that planned that trip should have saw that, and that was not supposed to be the house that they everyone supposed to be on one accord at. But I do appreciate the fact that I think it's Valerie. I don't know, but I'm trying to look to see her name. I write her name down. I don't even know. And it's all the newbies on the show. But hey guys, make sure to um, make love your guiding source, and make sure to like, comment, and share and subscribe, and share this video with 10 people and tell them to subscribe to the channel. Okay, guys, it's Binti Love. It's Binti Love Podcast that you're watching. Until next time.